Okay. So guys, today first I will go with the zone protection profile. Then I'll go with the DOS protection profile. Then I will explain you what are the aggregate DOS protection, what are the classified DOS protection. After it, I'll go for the vWire deployment and layer 2 deployment. Tap mode deployment we have already covered. Okay. So today in my lab, I have introduced one more new device, which is Kali Linux. Okay, from this particular machine, I will launch the network attacks, and we will see how basically this particular zone protection profile and DOS protection profile protect us. Okay, so first, guys, if I'll go into my objects, or let me first go into my network tab. In network tab, if you go down somewhere into network profiles, you will see zone protection profile. Okay, so if I click on add here, I'll just give some name, zone protection. Okay, now guys, why we use this particular zone protection profile? So it basically protect us from the flood protection. So the thing is, if someone have launched the network flood attacks, let's suppose someone have TCP SYN flood, means he has just flooded your network with the TCP SYN request. Whatever servers you are having, let's suppose he has sent so many SYN only, TCP SYN only, because you know in TCP three-way handshake, right? First packet is SYN. After that, he will client will send the SYN. Now server needs to respond with the SYN plus X, right? And he will wait for the X. So what they will do, attacker just send the SYN packet only. And for this SYN request, my server needs to respond, right? So what happens in that case, so what he will do, he will maybe send around 10 lakh of SYN packet every second. So in that case, your server is flooded actually. Your server is flooded with the SYN request, and he's just busy in basically handling these particular SYN requests. In that scenarios, maybe your server is not able to respond for the legitimate users traffic. Okay, so if you are basically having this kind of attack, this kind of flooding attack in your network, how you can protect? You can protect either by using zone protection profile, either by using the DOS protection profile. Both things you can basically use, but I will tell you what are the difference between zone protection and DOS protection profile. Okay, so first here basically I have created the zone protection profile. Okay, and now if you see it, it will provide you the flood protection. So it can protect you from the SYN flood attack, ICMP flood attack, other IP flood attack, UDP flood attack, and ICMP version 6 flood attack. Okay, how it will protect? If I click on SYN flood attack, right? So there are two methods. First method is randomly drop. Second method is Syn cookies. These are the two methods we are having for the Syn flood attack. Okay, and guys, this particular Syn cookies is only applicable for Syn flood. Okay, in ICMP or in other IP or ICMPv6 or UDP, you will not find this Syn cookies method. I'll explain you both the algorithm how they work. Okay, don't worry. First I will explain what's that. Okay, so if I select randomly drop, so if you see these values, right, these are the alarm rate, activate, maximum connection per second. Okay, I'll explain you how these algorithm works, so don't worry with that. Then we are having ICMP flood attack, where we have to define these values. Actually, we have to define the alarm rate. Means, let's suppose in my organization, I have sent around 10,000 requests per second. In that case, what happens? One alarm will be triggered. This is also known as randomly drop red. So means red flag will be triggered in that case. If I have received maybe 10,000 requests, in case of ICMP, if I receive a 10,000 ICMP request. And after that, when this connection count increases, let's say from 10,000, now it said increases to 11,000 per second. What will happen in that case? In that case, basically what you will do, see, it will activate the red actually. It will activate the random early drop. And how it will do? In that case, see, from this 11,000 packet, what it will just, there are around 1,000 packets extra, right? So it will, what it will do, it will randomly drop these 1,000 packets out of this 11,000. What it will randomly drop the packets. So this particular rate is between 10,000 to 40,000. What it will do, it will randomly drop the packets. It will just randomly choose the packet, it will drop like this. Basically your this particular random early drop algorithm works when your connection count become more than 40,000. Become more than 40,000. What it will do, it will drop all the packets. It will drop all the packets if your maximum connection threshold will be reached. Okay, this is the threshold value where your basically zone protection will activate it. At this particular time point, your zone protection is activated. If connection count become higher than the threshold value, it will start it will just picking the packet. It will keep dropping these packets randomly. But when your connection count become more than the threshold value or the maximum threshold, which is 40,000, which is the default value, your firewall will stop basically stop dropping all the packet. Okay, so like this particular method will work. This is a random early drop method. Okay, and this ICMP, UDP, they all support the random early drop. Okay, now let me also select this one. I'll just go with the default values in first go. If I'll select here Syn Cookies, here I have to define my activate threshold. So what I will always define here 10,000. This is the maximum value. So in that case, in Syn Cookies, what happens? I'm having my firewall here. This is my server. This is the attacker. Attack coming from here, right? So what it will do when this attacker send the Syn message, what it will, my firewall will do, it will just stop this Syn, and on the basis of this server, my firewall will give the reply. He will give the Syn plus ACK. If he will send the ACK message, then only it will basically just allow the packet. Means in the backend, he will also, my firewall will also initiate the TCP3 handshake with this server if he will receive the ACK. If my firewall will not receive the ACK, he will drop the session right away. So like this particular Syn Cookies method works actually. In that case, we are putting the load on our firewall because now my firewall is responding for the TCP three-way handshake, right? On the basis of this server, and my server also need my firewall also creating a connection with this server on the basis of this particular attacker machine. If this is he will, if my firewall receive the ACK message. Okay, so that's how your Syn Cookies works. Okay, what I will do, first I will go with the randomly drop. Okay, now I'll go to into Reconnaissance Protection. So the thing is, it will protect our servers from the TCP port scan, host sheep, and UDP port scan. If someone is trying to scan your network, means what it will do, by Kali Linux, there is a one Nmap tool is there. They can use this Nmap tool to scan your network. They will send so many packets on all the ports, and they just try to find out these are the ports which is opened in your network. That's how basically this particular TCP port scan, UDP port scan, and host sweep works. Okay, so it will basically protect us from the scanning of the network. Because if I talk about the attack phases, scanning is the one of the attack phase, because first attackers or hackers just try, they just scan your network, and after that only they will basically just identify the information. These are the port numbers which is open, and after that they will just try to launch the attack on these particular port numbers. Okay, so let me set this value as well. So if you see here, you have, if you want to enable, you have to click on this one, action. Alert allow means we are allowing the traffic. Alert means we are allowing the traffic, but it will generate the alert message. It will generate the log. Block means we are blocking this connection. Block IP means we are blocking that particular IP only. So generally we will set here block IP. Track by source and destination. What I want to block on the source and destination, and here you can define the timer value. I'll generally define here 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. Click on this one, host shape, block it, block IP, and just define this value. Click over there. UDP port scan you can block by the IP address. If you want, you can also change these value. This is the interval, means if in 2 seconds actually, if my firewall receives around 1000 times TCP port scan, then only in 2 seconds if I receive a TCP scan which is 1000 times, what it will do, it will just block that IP and it will consider this is a attack actually. Okay, so we will modify these values because I will just minimize the timers and all when I launch the attack. So this is how your recurrence attack works actually. Now go to into port based attack. So if you see here guys, packet based attack means if there is any attack is happening on the basis of headers actually. What attackers will do, they can modify the headers. If there is any modification on the headers, how we can protect actually. So if there is some IP drop, so if there is a like is IP spoofed address is there, then this particular attack will be blocked. If strict IP check is there, fragmentation is there, then these are the IP option fields. So if your IP option field having strict source routing, loose source routing, timestamp, record route, see if it is having any security value, if stream ID is there unknown or malformed, in that case my firewall will be block this thing. Okay, so let me, I will select all these options. Generally we will select all these options. Okay, this by record route, strict routing, loose routing, you can initiate that kind of attack by using the extended ping command. Okay, now for TCP drop we are having mismatch or overlapping TCP segment. Sometimes what happens there, let's say you are having 3 segments, segment 1, segment 2, segment 3. Maybe your segment 1 is also having some part of the segment 2. This is an overlapping segment kind of things. It found this thing, it will block that particular traffic. A split handshake, if there is any handshake problem, it will block that. These are this particular reject non-SYN TCP. It's a global option. Okay, it will apply globally. Okay, just remember asymmetric path, it will found, it will drop that packet. These are the global setting actually. We can modify if we want, but these are the global settings. If you have received TCP SYN packet with data field, because in TCP there is no data field, right? It's having 0 payload. If you find it, it will block that packet. TCP SYN plus ACK with data, if we found, it will block it, because in TCP 3-way handshake like SYN plus ACK and ACK, they don't have any kind of data field. Now strip TCP option, if you want to strip, you can select these options. Okay, ICMP drop. So if you are having ICMP request with the ping ID 0, just block that packet. ICMP fragmentation, if you have received the fragmented packet for ICMP, just block that packet, because in case of ICMP there is a very small packet is generated, right? Then you don't require any fragmentation, right? Sometimes what happens, hackers just add the malware code inside the ICMP header in a payload field. So that time maybe your ICMP packet size become high and fragmentation may required. Okay, so now if you are receiving the ICMP large packet more than 1024 bytes, in that case your packet will be dropped. Discard ICMP embedded with error message. So if there is any error message on the ICMP packet or ICMP header, just block it. Suppress the ICMP TTL expired error. If you have received the TTL expired packet, just block it. ICMP fragmentation need. If this option is there, just block it. ICMP6 and this is IPv6 and ICMP6 I will not cover because we don't have any environment. Go to into protocol protection. Here you can add different kind of protocols if you want to protect them actually. Okay, but I am not going with that field. This is for Ethernet SGT protection. So these two are the very new in basically PaloAlto 10. So I have to also look on that one. So I have just basically configure my zone protection. Now I'll just, so I have just created this zone protection profile. Now guys, what happened? I need to apply this particular zone protection profile into my zones actually. Okay. So how I can apply? If I go into my zones, into inside zone, see, you are having zone protection here, you have to apply. But I will not apply now. In outside also same place, but I will not apply now. First I will show you how basically these attacks works actually. First I will launch the attack and I'll show you the things. Okay, so let me just check. So if I'll go into my net rule, so guys, I'm having one rule for my inside server, or that server is hosted on 192.168.1.225. This is my web server, which this server actually, this is my IIA server. Okay, I will launch the attack on that particular server. So what I can do, so this server having IP address which is 10.1.1.221 in my inside network. Okay, so I am basically launched the attack on this particular server. Okay, this particular Kali Linux machine is in my outside. If you see here, this adapter is set as a bridge, means this have a connectivity with the outside network. Okay, so if you want to see the connectivity till that server, so I'm having this particular server here. I go to into the security. I'm also having one security rule, DMZ server. I'm having this particular rule who is allowing the HTTP traffic. Okay, I have allowed only HTTP traffic. Now what I will do, I'll go into this server, and instead of what I can do, let me just modify my rule little bit. Okay, I just allow all the services. Okay, let me just do the commit. I want to allow ping and everything. Okay, first let's go with that particular setup. Let me, meanwhile commit is going on, I'll go into the monitor tab, into traffic, into threads. So right now I'm not able to see any threads here, because on that machine I have not launched any attacks so far. Okay, but today we will do it. So after we will able to see some threads and or threads activities here. Okay, so let's wait for this particular commit to complete. I'll just check the basic connectivity. Type of 192.168.1.225. I can able to open, which means I am having the basic connectivity, right? I'll go into my Kali Linux machine. So the default username and password, default username is Kali and password is Kali. Okay. Now from this machine, let me just try to ping to 192.168.1.225. Ping is working, means I am having the connectivity. Okay. So now guys, I will just launch first attack, which is TCP flood attack. How we can do it? We will use one tool which is hping3. So guys, this particular Kali Linux machine is basically, it's an operating system which is designed for basically doing the pen testing. We can launch any kind of attacks by using this machine. So I will use the command here hping. Okay, let me just see if I can open the, I can change the layout. zoom out. Okay. So I will run this command hping3. After I will give the C, which means connection count. Let's suppose I will send here 1 lakh of connection, 1 lakh of TCP packets. Okay. Minus S, minus L. So I'll give you all these commands. Don't worry, guys. Okay. Then I will define minus P and I will just send all these packets into port number 80. And my target is 192.168.1.225. And after it, I'll just use your flood. If I run this command now, what it will do, it will send around 1 lakh of packet every second. Okay. If you go into your firewall, into dashboard, see, connection count is 65,000, guys. Generally, this connection count is maybe 10 or 20, right? In the normal cases. But right now, see the connection count, 65,000. See, data plane CP reaching 38%. Now, it will shoot my data plane CPU, guys. If I'll keep running this attack, it will shoot my data plane CPU. So what I will do, I'll go into my machine and let me just cancel this attack. See, guys, it has sent around these many packets. It has sent around, I think, 26 lakh packet actually. If you go over there, now see your connection count become 24% rapidly, right? Because all the connection still data plane CV 38% and management plane is 39. Right? So this is how, guys, we will launch that. And now see data plane CV becomes 0. If you go into monitor tab, into threat, just refresh here. I'm not getting anything here. See, it has, I have received so many packets. Let me just refresh few times here. Go into threads. I will get the thread here actually. I am not getting here. Okay. Let me go to into device. Let me just see if I'm having the proper database. Okay, so these kind of database is not there. Okay, so I think we will not get the thread until we will basically configure this particular attacks, because right now we are not protecting, right? So we will not able to see any kind of basically threats here. Okay, that's why we are not able to see. Otherwise we will get. But you have seen here how basically your CPU is bent high, right? So this basically this particular attack is your TCP flood attack. Okay, now let me just also show you how we can launch the ICMP flood attack. Meanwhile, what I'll do, I'll go into my network tab. Let me just go to into my DOS protection, go over there, and let me just disable all these options. Okay, for now, because I will launch the attacks and I will just keep enabling these particular options. Okay. Okay. Let me click on OK. Let me just apply this zone protection profile into my zones. So I'll just apply into my outside zone, because all the attacks will be happening on the outside zone in most of the cases, right? Click on OK. Let me go in inside. I will also enable on my inside zone. I'll also enable my DMZ zone. Generally, we will apply this zone protection into the all the zones. And guys, when we configure this zone protection profile, it will have the wider scope, means it will have the wider scope, because we are applying into into the zones actually. Means if let's say your zone having 5 interface, means your basically zone protection profile is applied on all these 5 interfaces. Okay, so just let's wait here. And if I'll go into my zone protection for one more time, I will change these particular values after some time. Okay, but let me just send some packets actually for now. So let me just see the status of commit. It's 99%. Meanwhile, I'll go into the dashboard. Okay, so commit has been succeeded. See, right now, guys, your data plane CPU is 2% and session count is 0%. Okay, I'll again go into my Kali Linux machine. I'll just launch the attack. This time, what I can do, let me first send the, okay, 1 lakh packet is fine. I have just sent the packets. See, your session count become 44,000. See, the session limit is 2,56,000, right? If I can just send the 10 lakh of packet every second, maybe your CPU will trigger right away, right? Your connection limit will be triggered right away. And if I'll go into my policies, monitor tab. And here you will see so many packets. See, from outside to inside, packet coming from 191.61.2 on this IP on port 80, right? So many packets are coming. You go into threads. See, my firewall had detected as a TCP flood attack. If you go into this one, or now what I can do, let me just stop the attack. See, action is random early drop. How my firewall is deleting these particular connection? By using the random early drop method. See, even though you are not able to see any kind of anything in the source field, because this Kali Linux machine is also hiding his source IP address. Destination also 0, right? So he has modified the packets actually. Client to server. See, if you want to see this particular detail, if you click on to this particular view in the thread vault, so PaloAlto have this thread vault. If you are having details, you can log in into thread vault and you can see the thread. Severity is critical. All the details you will be able to see here. How now my firewall has protect us? He has protect us by using the TCP flood attack, right? He has just protect us by using the zone protection profile for TCP flood attack, right? Now what I will do, I'll go into my network tab, into zone protection. And what I can do, I go into zones. Let me just remove this protection from my outside interface. Let me go into inside. Let me just remove it. Go into DMZ. Let me just remove it. Let me click on OK. If you will not have a zone protection profile, then this particular tag go through with your firewall, and basically your server is flooded with lots of send requests, and he will not able to functions properly. Okay. So now I have removed this particular zone protection profile because I want to just change the values actually here. I just modify the values because these values are a little bit high. So what, guys, don't change these values in the production environments. Okay. Because the thing is, when you will change these values, you will come across the severe impact in your production environment. Okay. Always just change these values by discussing with the PaloAlto professional services. Okay. If you reach out to tech, they reach out to professional services and they will give their findings. Okay. Then only just change these values. Otherwise, go with the default values always. Okay. So you have to remember this thing. Now this time, what? Let me also enable this ICMP flood. Let me also enable UDP flood, other IP flood, and ICMP v6 flood. And let me click on OK. I'll just apply into my outside zone. And let me do the commit here. Meanwhile, let me also log in into this firewall via CLI 192.168.137.120. So these are the guys real-time attack. This is how attack happens in the production environment. Okay. If you have heard the name of audit teams, right? Audit happens. What they will do? They will launch these kind of attacks only, and they just try to see if your network is vulnerable, if your what kind of port is opening in the network. These kind of things only they will check actually. Or if there is a red team, right? Red team job is doing this. They will also do the similar thing. Okay. So session all. Let me just. There is no active session. Show global. Let me show counter global, then filter category. I have to find the category for first. I will see all the global counters. Okay, because I want to look for the DOS protection only. See, there is a zone protection value is there. Because we can also basically locate the things from here. So where is that zone protection field? Proxy is there, session count is there. Okay, not in category. Let me just locate this particular that counter. Okay, we will get the info into that counter only. So DOS, that's the basically expect. In expect we will able to see. And there is a one more thing is there with regards to the zone protection, because your firewall have so many counters actually. CTD is there, TCP is there. Okay, because we will basically troubleshoot the issues by looking into these counters only in most of the time. Okay, not an issue. So the commit has been completed and I have applied the protection in my outside interface. Go into the monitor tab to threats. So that time we have launched the TC flood attack, right? Now let me launch this time ICMP flood attack. How I can do that? On the same server, I'll go into my Kali Linux machine and I'll just type here H ping 3. Okay, -C. These are the packet counts. So I will send around 10,000 packet, 1 lakh of packets per second, minus -- rand source -1, then the target IP address, which is 192.168.1.225 -- flood. This command I will run for launching the ICMP flood attack. I will launch this attack, and after some time you will see some packets with regards to the ICMP flood here. See, ICMP flood packet you are seeing, right? And this particular packet is dropped by the randomly drop method. See, severity is critical. So now my firewall is blocking these particular packets, right, guys? This is how we will launch the ICMP flood attack, and this is how our zone protection profile basically protect our servers from these kind of attacks, right? If you go into your dashboard, look for this data plane. See, can look for the connection count. This single machine has consumed your 76,000 sessions, guys. After some time, if I can launch this attack by using 2-3 machines, all the sessions is basically consumed by the single these machines. And after that, when your connection count limit is exceeded, what it will do, it will stop dropping the packets. If you run this command here, show session all, see how many ping sessions are there, guys? Huge a lot, right? See, right now your number is reaching here like 11,000 is there. These are the session limit, guys. So it will exhaust all your sessions. Okay. If I refresh, see 69,000. Now the thinking number is not increased. See, CPU is 96%. Let me just stop the ping, otherwise my firewall will crash actually. So guys, when you are testing, okay, just make sure your CPU is in proper stage. See, right now it's 96%, which is a huge number, right? And when it reaches to 100%, it will crash actually. Your firewall will crash. So this particular CPU lower down after some time. But now my firewall is busy in dropping these sessions, right? Show session all. If I run this command one more time, no active session. So after some time, your CPU become in normal state. So this is your ICMP flood attack. Okay. See, there is a lots of ICMP flood events has been triggered. Just wait for this one. Now I will launch the UDP flood attack, and we will apply the zone protection profile for protecting from this particular attack. 49%. So we will wait here for some time. You can see the details here as well, what you have configured. How many packet has been dropped, all these particular details you can basically see here. Say if I'll go look for this particular ICMP attack, these are the values. It has dropped around 3,44,405 packets actually. In case of TCP, that counter has been resetted. Now we will launch the UDP flood attack. Okay. Let me just, it's still in 49%, but it's okay. Let me just launch the UDP flood attack, guys. Okay. So how we can do that flooding attack? What I will do, I'll just use the same command, hping3 -c random source, and what I have to do, I have to just, instead of 1, I have to use here 2. Now I'll just hit enter. I'll just keep running this command for some time. Let me close it because I don't want to trigger my CPU. See, session count is 1,66,935, guys. If I'll go into my monitor tab, you have seen here your connection is under UDP flood attack. See, while it is protecting, because we have zone protection profile, that's why, guys, this zone protection profile is very, very much important in our organizations. Okay. Now what I will do, let me launch one more attack, which is for other IP attacks, because we will, and if you run this command, you can able to see in UDP, see it has dropped around 61,858 packets actually. current packet is not 0, right? If I launch the attack one more time, you will see the current packet count as well. Let me just run this. Let me just run if I can get anything. So I have to basically leave this attacks for some time. I'll go here. Let me just run this command. And now let me just go and I quickly cancel the attack. And if you see this time, see, it will give you the current data as well. Currently, it is handling around 35,000 packets, 35,580 packets. These are packets which is dropped. So like this, you can able to see what kind of attacks is happening in your organization. Now let me quickly launch the other IP attack. Okay, so see, you will see lots of packets for UDP flood now, right? And if you're, I can see the CP and all. Concession count is still this one. It will drop these sessions maybe after some time. Show session all see, there are lots of session in discard state, right? Clear session all, show session all. So I have just cleared all the sessions. Generally we don't run this clear command in the production, guys. See, everything is in fine state right now. Now let me just launch one more attack, which is other IP flood attack. Now guys, see how powerful this machine is. By using this single machine, you are just flooding your VM 100 PaloAlto firewall. Okay. Now just use this command h ping 3 -c. I will not send too many packets. I will just send 10,000 packets, guys, per second. Okay. And after that, I just use this command random source -0. We have to use 0 if we want to launch any other IP attack. Actually, 192.168.1.225 -flood. H, what's the command? H ping 3. This is the connection count, then rend source -0. Okay, I have used here minus. Oh, that's why. Okay, see, I have launched the attack. Now I go to into monitor, and now you will see the log for other IP kind of attack after some time, because this time I have just reduced the connection count. Okay, if you go here, if you run this command, and if you look for other IP attack right now, there is no packets for other IP. What happening? I'm not able to see any packets as well. Okay, let me just see. H ping 3-c random source -0 192.168.1.225 -flood command is correct. Let me just send these many packets. Maybe that time only this event will trigger. Still count is 0. Okay, so I'll go there. Let me go into dashboard. I think it is dropping these other IP packets maybe somewhere at the ingress level itself due to some errors and all. Okay, that's why we are not able to see here. Because if I run this command show counter global filter delta, yes, see packet count is this one. See, now the receive packet is changing every time, right? So your packet is dropping, I think, at the parse level. There is a IP error. See, this counter is increasing every time, right? See, this particular counter is increasing, which means it is dropping that packet. Invalid IP address, maybe due to this reason, it is dropping at the parsing level in your ingress. That's why. Okay. So your firewall is protecting this particular tag here only. Even though it is because if it will drop at the ingress level, and this particular zone protection is a part of your connection setup state. Okay. That's why. Now I'll go there. I'll just stop this one. I'll go into monitor tab. See, so we have launched UDP attack, ICMP attack and all, right? And TCP flood attack. Now what I can do, let me also launch some scanning attack, guys. In a scanning attack, what I will do, if you go into the zone protection profile one more time, all these values are there. Now I'll go into this particular Reconnaissance Protection, and I'll just enable a TCP port scan. Okay, so in first case I'll just alert actually. So what I will do, I'll just set the interval which is 2 seconds, and event is, let me just set the event 10 or not 10. I'll just go with the 2 events, and the timer is 1. Host ship, I think that value is not okay. Minimum is 2. Okay, threshold event is 2. Okay, I'm just basically modifying these value as per my lab because I will send less traffic. I'll get the output. Okay, I'll just change 2, and event is, let me, a threshold event is 2. Let's see. For same for the UDP. In one go, I will just only protect actually. Okay, I'll just see the alert actually for if that is happening. I want to see the alert on my firewall. Let me just do the commit. For this, I will use Nmap. Nmap is also powerful scanning tool. You can, if you want to, you can also, I think Nmap you can also download on your Windows machine. Nmap, like scanning tool. There are this, from there I think you can download into your Windows machine and you can install. From there you can also launch the attacks. But I will use the Kali Linux because that tool is inbuilt in the Kali Linux. Okay. So let's see, it's in 99%. Commit has been completed. I'll go into the monitor tab, into thread. So I'm not having any kind of attack with regards to scanning. So what I will do, I'll go into my Kali Linux, and what I will do, I'll launch the attack. So I will use here nmap minus a small s and capital S, then the IP address, which is 192.168.1.225. And what I will do, I want to scan the port number which is starting from 1 until 1023, because these are the well-known port numbers, right? So I'll just scan this particular range. First go. See, scanning has been completed. See, scanning has been completed and this attack gone through my firewall. See now, if you see here, FTP is open, port number 53 is open, TCP 80 is open, TCP 88, which is Kerberos, is also running. RPC bind is running on this server. These are the different services running, and these are the port number is open. Port number 443 is open, 445 is open, 139 is also open, right? 389 LDAP is also open because I have running the LDAP AD service, right? Now, guys, what you have to do, all these things are running on the firewall, right? On this particular server. Now you can just basically use any kind of vulnerability on that particular server, and you can just launch the attack by using these port number, because on these port my firewall is listening. I can also change this number. Let me just remove this value. I'll do the scanning on all the ports. I will get, there are few ports which is unknown, they are also listening, right? See, all the details you are getting, right? If I'll go into this one, see, you will get one alert for TCP port scan. There are TCP port scan alert is there, right? Now, even though you can also do the UDP scan, how we can do the UDP scan? Let me just run the UDP scan as well. After that, we will block, because after that we will see how we can block it. Nmap minus S U UDP minus P. Then you can define your port range starting from 0 till 65535. This particular range you can define, and your IP address is 192.168.1.225. It will just scan the UDP port numbers actually. See here, you will see I have scanned only TC ports, right? But here you will get the UDP port numbers. Just wait here for some time. This scanning is going on. Let's see. If you go over there, if I'll refresh it, see UDP port scan is going on right now. You are seeing the alert actually. See, alert is going on. If you go into traffic logs, you will see so many packets with different UDP ports actually. See the port numbers here. Now my Linux machine is generating these requests on each and every port starting from 1 to 65535, and they will just see on which port they are getting the reply. So this is how, see, that attack is still going on, because UDP port scan is still going on. See, your firewall is keeps detecting the activities, because we are running our zone protection in alert mode, and we are getting the severity which is medium right now. And if you go into dashboard, you will see some sessions as well. See, there are around 30 sessions is there. So in UDP, in scanning, you will not find much sessions, because this particular, we have our flood attacks, right? Which is used, generally we use for the flooding the network. Okay. And let's see, it is taking too much time. So what I can do, let me just put the port number, which is starting from 1 to 1023. I'll just want to scan these ports. Okay. This particular takes some time, right? Scan is still going on. Now we want to protect our basically organization from all these kind of attacks actually. TCP scan is going on, UDP scan is going on, right? So let me cancel out. See, now these are the, see, only it has find one port number between 0 to 655, which is 53. I'm running DNS services on this particular Active Directory server. I get this particular port number, right? Now, let me also show you one more thing, how we can do the host scanning. Nmap -s minus s, then capital P, and after that I'll give the 192.168.1.0/24. I will give this particular value. So what I want to do, I will scan from 128/25. because I don't want to put so much load on my Wi-Fi router. Okay, I will start the scanning, which is starting from 128. See, you will get something here. Nmap done for 128 IP address. Two host is in up state right now. One host is 192.168.250, which is my firewall IP address, and another one is 192.168.225. Means these are the two hosts on this network. If I'll do the scanning for entire network, 0/24, you will get maybe 2-3 mobile as well here. Let's see what is the result we are getting here. See, now your result is little bit. I see I'm getting this particular. This is the IP address of my home Wi-Fi, means it can able to scan my home Wi-Fi. This is the MAC address. Now I'm having 192.161.6. Maybe this is the IP. This is the mobile IP address of my phone. I'm having another IP 192.161.102. This is the IP address of my system. Then I have 192.161.225. This is the server IP address. 192.161.250. This is the firewall IP. I'm having one more IP, which is 192.161.2. This is the IP address of this Kali Linux machine. It is doing the scanning actually. If I'll go into this one, let me just refresh. So there are UDP scan is there. I'm not getting any log for the this particular host scanning. So what I can do, if I'll go into my network, let me just modify the thing. I have to see the events actually. What's the events I have configured? Zone protection profile to this tab, host sweep. So interval value can I able to set 1. Minimum is 2 only. And there are threshold value is also 2. So this particular attack is not basically detected by my firewall for now. Let me just go into the monitor tab one more time. So these are the guys I have just launched these attacks actually. Okay. Let me initiate the attack one more time. 192.168 1.128/25. So these are the few attacks which basically we can launch. Okay. So I have got, let me again send some traffic here. So I will generate so many events here actually, and I will check what's I'm getting. Okay, let me do the again scanning. Let me again do it. Let me now go into my firewall. Let me just check if I get any events. So I'm not getting the events here actually. So what is the reason? Okay, not an issue. The thing is, I hope I have to send the traffic to directly to the firewall for that one. Okay, that is the maybe reason. So what I can do? Is there anything which I can launch? 225, it is sending the traffic for this IP. Okay, not an issue, because but the thing is, this is how we will do the scanning actually, because this, I think this particular traffic is, if you see the default gateway on my firewall, if config, if I run this command, so on this Kali Linux machine, it is sending the traffic to bus 192.168.1.1 route minus n, sending the traffic to this one. If I can change the default gateway, so how I can do that? Route add then default gateway 192.168.1.250. So I'm having one default gateway. It is acting with the metric 0, so means this become active. Then let me launch this time. This time it will forward the traffic, all the traffic to your firewall. Okay, show I'm not getting any event still. Still, even though it is getting these IP address actually. Let me run 2-3 times if it works. Otherwise, I'll leave that thing. Into traffic logs, if you can also see the logs here if you want. There is a scanning happening from this IP address. It is sending to this one, insufficient data, traffic is allowed. See, still you are getting the packets here for that one. Okay, not an issue. Now I'll go into NetBucket. Now how we can protect them actually. Go into this place, go to into TCP port scan, instead of alert, just change the action which is block IP, tracked by source and destination 300 seconds. I am blocking this connection for 300 seconds. Just go there and block the IP, block for 300 seconds. Go into this one as well, block the IP for 300 seconds. Block it, click on OK and do the commit. Because guys, I have just launched all these attacks and I have protected them by using zone protection profile, because your DOS protection is also works in similar way. Okay, it works in similar way. It will not take much time to explain this particular DOS protection. Just let's wait here for some time. Commit is going on. Meanwhile, I'll go there. Let me just see if I can have anything here. See, if I'll go into this one, you will get all the basically hacking kits over there. See, sniffing, spoofing attack you can launch by using this particular tools, right? If I click on these tools, these are the tools. So network sniffers, spoofing, man in the middle attack, right? You can launch, you can use any of these tools and basically you can able to launch the attacks. It's having so many applications as well for that. Okay, commit is about to complete and we have changed the action which is block IP, right? If this time, if I launch any kind of TCP scan actually on my network, if I launch the TCP scan, and let's see what will happen. Okay, so I'll go into my this one and I will launch the TCP scan. So I will let me just launch for this particular scan. If it will detect, go into threads. UDP scan is there only. So me this particular host scan is not working. Okay. So what I can do, let me just launch this time UDP scan. Okay, and you will see your IP address will be blocked actually this time. See, this time your IP has been blocked actually. And if you go into your device, see right now scanning is not completing. See, it is there only, like scanning is not allowing by the file because it's a drop that particular scanning. Let's drop this particular scanning. See, block IP. If you go into thread, this time your traffic will be dropped for which is coming from this user 192 to this one. Let me refresh. Okay, log is not generating because log will generate when you will have a log enable on that rule. So you will get the thread logs here. Okay. And that IP has been blocked now for 300 seconds. Okay. And if you go there, see scanning is not complete. It is still waiting, right? So if what I will do, if I launch the this time, what I will scan the TCP scanning. Okay. I click over there, go into threads, just refresh it. Let me just reduce the size. But this IP address, so guys, if you remember, because you are not a part of my T-suite classes, so guys, the thing is, whenever your zone protection profile is hit actually, so the thing is these kind of IP has been blocked, and when they do the connection lookup, you will see the card is discard actually, state is discard, and they will in ingress itself they will check that DOS block table. Okay, and by only in that table they will find the entry, so they will block the connection that time only. That's why, so this is how basically we can block the things. This IP address has been blocked for 300 seconds. So what I will do, I'm doing the scanning, but I'm getting nothing here, right? And you are also getting, see, all 102 scan port on this one are filtered. Filtered means there is some firewall who is filtering the traffic. So this is how basically your attacks basically protected by the firewalls. Okay. Now, so after 300 seconds, I will again launch the TCP scan attack. Meanwhile, let me show you how we can basically configure the DOS protection profile. Okay, so guys, to configure the DOS protection profile, if you go into policies, you will see the DOS protection here. But before that, if you go into object tab here, and if you go down, you will see the DOS protection into security. So first we have to create the DOS protection profile here. Okay, so let me just create this profile. DOS protection profile. So you can configure this DOS protection by using two methods actually, aggregate and classified. Classified method works on the basis of specific IP address, specific source IP, destination IP. This works on aggregate values actually. Okay, similar thing, Syn flood attack, similar thing. Okay, UDP flood attack, ICMP flood attack, these are the similar values like we are having in zone protection actually. By using DOS protection, we can protect all the flood kind of attacks. Okay, but we cannot able to protect the recurrence based attack. And also guys, by using this DOS protection profile, we can also protect our resources, means sessions. If your session count is become, this is default value 32,768 from the single IP address, what it will do, it will just detect as a DOS protection, it will just stop dropping these packets. I will create two basically DOS protection profile. I'll give the name here aggregate. So this is for aggregate. Okay, name become big aggregate. Okay, like this. Click on OK. Me add one more profile. This profile I want to use for classified. Okay, select the classified, select all these options. Click on OK. I have created these profiles. Now I'll go to into my policies. Go to into DOS protection policies. I can add the rule here. Okay, so like rule number 1. If traffic coming from outside, address is any, user is any, destination is inside. Let's say I'm having this server in inside 192.168.1.221. So guys, I have to, like in policies, we use the public IP address, right? Here I also need to use the public IP address. Just remember 192.168.1.225. Means this time basically, see, right, in zone protection, what happens? It will apply on the zone actually, right? But here we have a granular control, right? Because in zones there are so many IP addresses, right? And zone protection will apply on all the IPs and all, right? But here this DOS protection is basically granular. We are just applying on this IP address. If any traffic coming from outside going to this one, this DOS rule will trigger. Okay, so that's how. See, like now you can find out a difference. Like DOS protection profile is limited, right? It will give you the more granular control, but zone protection profile have a wider scope. It will apply on all the zones, like all the interface of that zones. Okay, it's have a wider scope, but it is having the limited scope. You can control the scope here. Okay, that's the difference between zone protection profile and DOS protection profile. Second difference is zone protection profiles have a support of recurrence attack. Okay, like TCP scan, UDP scan, host sweep, these kind of attacks you can protect by using zone protection profile. The second thing, in the life of a packet, first your zone protection profile will hit, and after that your DOS protection profile hit. So in the, if we can say, the occurrence level as per the life of a packet, your zone protection comes in the first place, and after that your DOS protection comes. Okay, I'll explain in your T-suite classes what are the things happens. Okay, so don't worry. Options, if you want to write any service, you can go with the service. Action is deny, means we are dropping the packet. Allow means we are allowing the traffic. Protect means we are protecting that resource. I'll just set the action protect. Lock forwarding, scheduling, you can also do the scheduling if you want. Lock forwarding is also there if you want to enable this lock forwarding. Aggregate, what I want to use the aggregate here. If you select the classified, you have to select your classified profile, and you have to define here source IP only, destination IP only, source and destination IP both. So basically it will give you, it happens on the basis of source IPs or destination IPs. Okay, so generally what I will do, I'll go with the aggregate options only here. Okay, click on OK. Now I've created this rule, so I will not apply this rule, guys, for now. What I will do before that, I'll go into this one. Let me just run the scanning one more time. If you go into monitor, this time this particular tag will be blocked by the into threads. So still I'm having a UDP scan. Now see, this particular now TCP port scan has been detected. It is blocked, right? And who is blocking? Your zone protection is blocking. So what now? I'll go into network tab. Let me, guys, just remove the zone protection for some time. Let me do the commit. So guys, now let me tell you one thing. If you are having zone protection profile enabled, you don't require DOS protection profiles at all. If you don't have zone protection, then only go for the DOS protection, because in zone protection you will get the more control. Okay, Let's wait here for some time. Commit is going on, so we will wait here for some time. %99. Okay. So now guys, I have removed the zone protection profile. I am having my DOS protection profile here, right? So if you go into security policy, I'm having this time DOS protection policies here, right? Okay. So if I'll go into my firewall, into my Kali Linux machine, if this time I will launch one of the attack, which is see TC port scanning is happening, but it's not getting anything. So if I'll launch the TCP scan, or let me just do the TCP flood attack. Okay. See, connection count is 1 lakh. This is the IP address, port number is 0. So let me just write the command properly. -s hyphen, that's the command. Okay. So this is for UDP flood attack. Sorry, TC flood attack. If I'll click on OK. If I refresh it, you will see the hit count is still 0. Which means this rule is not hitting for now. Traffic coming from outside going towards inside on this IP address. Rule hit count is still 0. Let me go into dashboard. Look, connection count is also 0 here. H ping, this is the time, port is 80.192.168.1.225 minus flood. Okay, so command is correct. The thing is, guys, what happening? Because we have a DOS protection, right? Sorry, zone protection. So that IP address has been blocked for 300 seconds. If we will try after 300 seconds, basically, this particular thing will work actually. Because that particular, there is some cache information. Show session all. Clear session all. Let me just clear all the sessions. Traffic come from this machine going to this one. These are the different port numbers. So scanning is happening. It is also allowed actually. So let me go into the DOS protection rule one more time. Hit count is 0. So what I can do, let me just change the values little bit. Okay. It will work with the same values as well. Aggregate, these are the values right now. Let me see if I'm getting anything in the threads. So I can see there are some threads for block IP address, but that time it has been blocked by the zone protection. So we have to wait for 300 seconds, and after that only we can able to see. Clear session all. So zone protection. I'm not having any protection right now. I have launched the attack one more time. Let's see. See, I'm detecting the TCP scan, right? TCP scan is there, right? This is the packet, but it is in block IP state. Right now I have just flooded the network, right? So I can see something in the floods. Not now, I'm not getting anything. Okay, now I got the, see, TC flood is going on right now here. If you go into the dashboard, your connection count is also reaching. See, 32768, it has reached that connection count. And after it will stop dropping the packets. It will protect your resources as well, right? And if you go into the policies, into security policy, you will see the rule hit counter. Meanwhile, let me also cancel it. Okay, cancel the attack. Right now, see hit count. This particular rule has been hit for 6,43,099 times. See the hit count, guys. Here means this rule has received these many packets. Okay, so this is how you can basically test the things. You can just add one Linux machine in your system, this Kali Linux machine. It's free to download. Okay, now after you can launch these attack. I'll put all these commands today. Okay, so these are the things which I want to discuss with regards to your zone protection and basically DOS protection. This is how the real time basically deployment happen for these two things. Okay, meanwhile if you want to launch some other attacks, like I have launched here right now, like TCP, you can, if you want, you can launch the UDP flood attack as well. It's a similar thing, right? Let me also do the UDP flood attack. It will not take much time. 1000, then random source. And in case of UDP, value is -2 because 0 is 4, -2 is there. Just launch the UDP flood attack. Wait for some time. Cancel the attack. Let me launch the ICMP flood as well. Value is 1. This is your ICMP flood attack, right? Because these are the flood attack which you can basically launch and your firewall will be protected. Now look for the hit counts actually here in the rule. See, hit count has in case reached around 10 lakh. You go into the monitor tab, you will see the details here in your threat logs. See, ICM flood is there. Session limit event has been also generated and your packet has been dropped. They are doing the randomly drop for these drops, right? So you can configure the thing. TC flood is there, UD flood is there. See, connection count limit is also exhausted. So you can configure the limit. Generally, guys, whatever I have done here, let me just show you one more small thing, because you go to into aggregate profile resource. We generally not set this much value. We will send 200 value only, guys. So from one machine, we only want 200 sessions, not more than that. Like that, you can modify the things, but before that, you have to do your all the R&D, and your cyber security team, this red team, they will basically give you the details. What are the values you have to set? Okay. So like this, you can modify and launch the tech. Now, guys, I'm just closing that session, and let me quickly show you this particular deployment mode. It will take hardly 30 to 40 minutes. Today I have covered lots of information. Let me open my evenz. Let me just see the commit. Commit is going on. So I will wait for this particular commit to complete. And after I'll just stop this particular machine and I'll just start my evenz. 98%, 99. Okay. Now what I will do, I'll just stop this machine as well. So I'll go into my evenz. Let me just shut down this machine. So guys, when you power off your firewall, just shut down, go into this that option. Okay, shut down like this. So it will do the graceful shutdown. Okay. Or the best way to shut down, log in and just request shut down system, that command. Let me start the evenz. Close this one. I don't want to open it. So evenz is about to come. Now log in into this particular evenz. I'll close this lab. Let me just go to into the virtual wire deployment mode, which is this one. Okay, guys. So let me first explain my lab here. And before that, let me start at this PaloAlto because other device will not take much time. So I'm having here Cisco ASA firewall, which is a legacy firewall having connectivity with the internet. Just think here I'm having here 192.161.1/0 IP. This is my PaloAlto firewall. And these are the two interfaces which I'm using as a vWire interfaces. Means right now I'm putting my firewall into virtual mode. And I'm having this is my internal switch. Behind this switch, I'm having one machine. So you can have multiple machines here, right? Okay, because theoretical part we have already discussed, so I will not put too much effort on that. Why it is not starting? This is okay. I will start all these machines actually. Let me just see my PaloAlto has been okay. It's been shut down now. It is coming up, but why it is going down again and again? Let me just wiped out. Let me start. Okay, this time it's came up. Let's open these devices. Okay, so this ASA firewall having some configuration, guys. So what I can do, let me quickly do that configuration. Okay, so you will not get confused. Let me just modify this one. It is having 192.161.0. If you see it, this is having connected with the cloud one, which is your Wi-Fi adapter, towards your Wi-Fi adapter. Okay, or in my case, it is towards the my home Wi-Fi. So I'll give the name here internet, which is cloud one. This is your management interface, cloud 0, right? VMNet 8. Let me rename this one. In that ASA, I'm not having too much configuration. What I have did, so run interface gig 0/0. I'm having this IP address on this, name if security value. So what I can do, let me put that configuration, guys. Okay, so let me open the notepad file. Okay, so this configuration is for your ASA firewall. You have to just put these commands, actually, nothing else. No shutdown. These are similar command which I have used on that day. Okay, and after that, it is also in one more interface, which is Ethernet gig 0/1, which is having IP address 10.1.1.250. Copy these commands and I'll just put them. Let me add these two commands because they are missing over there. But when you run these two commands on ASA, it will basically configure your interfaces. I'm using gig 0/0 as outside, gig 0/1 as an inside. Okay. Now, if I run this console run access list, I'm having one ACL, which is allowing all the traffic. Okay. So I'm having this ACL. So I'll just put the ACL. So run access group. I'm having this ACL access group. So this ACL has been applied as a globally, and which this ASA5 allowing all the traffic. Okay. Let me just see. So run route. I'm having one route, default route pointing towards the outside. Okay. So these are the commands which you have to run on ASA. So run object. So I'm having this particular object. These two object I'm having. And what I can do, I'll go there because these two object I'm having for net rule, actually. So run net. So you have to configure this net, means this is your pet rule for your inside networks. Okay. And I'm having one more net rule, which is from inside to out. So this is static net, right? So this particular is rule for your static net. So these are the command which you have to run on ASA firewall, guys. I put all the commands here. Let me also put the switch command on your internal switch. Enable conft. So this switch having only two interfaces, gig 0/0 and gig 0/1. Okay. So if I run this command, do show run interface gig 0/0. So it just access port. So you have to run this command. Negotiation, you don't need to remember because these are default settings. Now go there and so run interface 0/1. So these are the commands which you have to run into the other interface. If you want, you can put here exit. And instead of this spanning tree port first, what you can just run one command, you can run here switch port host, because I have run these command multiple times, guys. Okay, if you have seen. So these are the commands you have to run on your switch. Let me just see. Do so IP route. I'm having any route over there. Okay, so it's having one default route. Do so run. Do so IP interface brief. It is having one IP address also in VLAN 10. Okay, so you can just interface VLAN 10 IP addresses. Do so run interface VLAN 10. You can run this command like this, copy the entire thing and paste over there. No shutdown and exit. Now just copy one more command which is for routing. Do so run section IP route, means I am just pointing one route towards the ASA firewall, right? Just wait here. I'm having one route towards the ASA firewall. Okay, so these are the command which you have to run on your switch actually. That's it. I have made both the interfaces as a part of VLAN 10, configure the switch port. I have enabled the port fast on these ports. Okay, I have configured one VLAN interface, means I have created one SPI with this IP address, and I have just pointing one default out towards the ASA firewall inside interface IP, which is this one. So these are the command basically you have to basically remember. These are the command which I have configured on my these two devices. Okay, because we don't need to configure any IP address on these two interfaces. It's a virtual base. We can say it's a vWire environment, or we can say WUMP in the wire. This firewall is transparent firewall. This switch and this particular firewall is not aware about we are having any PaloAlto 5 in between, who is basically doing the inspection of your traffic. They are not aware about. They don't have any idea on that one. Okay, so now let me just show you how we can configure this firewall. So I'll just open this firewall. Got the IP which is 192.168.137.128. So I'll just type that IP 192.168.1 dot, sorry, 137.128. Click on advanced, then proceed with unsafe. Just log in with admin. Click on OK. So this deployment is very easy, guys. Okay, don't need to put lots of effort over there. Just wait here for some time. Let me close it. I'll go into the device tab. Let me just configure the host name. PaloAlto firewall, click on OK. Now I'll go into the interfaces. And if you see here, guys, I'm having Ethernet 1/1 and 1/2, right? I'll go inside these interfaces. Ethernet 1/1 and 1/2. I'll go over there, give the comment here. vWire interface, and interface type is virtual wire. vwire group. So what we have to create one virtual wire group actually. Give the name vwire group 01. We will just go with the none value here. VLAN tag is also 0. Nothing. Click on OK. Security zone, just define this interface is a part of, just define your outside zone. Okay. This is your outside zone. Click on OK. Advanced, just make this interface up. You don't have any other options here. If you want, enable LLDP if you are running aggregate interfaces and all. Okay. Click on OK now. Click on this one. Give the comment vwire. Interface type is virtual wire. We will just call this vwire group because we have to put both the interface into the same group. Okay. Security zone, we will define our zone which is inside, because this interface is pointing towards your inside network. So this is your inside. Ethernet 1/2 connecting towards your LAN network. Advanced, make the interface up. Click on OK. Not sure why this interface is in up state. Advanced. Okay, let me just down this interface. Okay, so I have just configured these two interfaces with these vwire group settings and all, right? I've not configured any IP address. If you see, if you go inside this one, we don't have any options to configure the IP details. Okay. See virtual group wire. This is the group which I have created. So you can create the group from here as well, or you can create from there. Click on OK. Now go to into your policies. Now you can write your policy, whatever policy you want. So what I will write one rule which will allow internet access, means it will allow all the traffic coming from inside at sources 10.1.1.0/24 going towards outside. Application is any, services. So what I can do, I will allow only HTTP and HTTPS traffic. I will also allow the traffic for DNS. So UDP -53. This will allow the UDP traffic. Action is allow. Let me add one more rule which will allow the ping traffic. Inside destination is outside, application is ping. So now guys, when we deploy this mode, you will get the control actually. Now you can write the security policies, you can configure your profiles, configure all these profile if you want. You can configure zone protection and all, whatever you want. Okay. I will just added these rule. Let me just do the commit. Commit job was queued since auto commit. Guys, anyone have any idea what is this auto commit? Let me tell you, this particular auto commit is a system generated commit. What happens when your machine is rebooted? So what it will do, it will, when it will reboot, so the thing is whatever running configuration you are having, that running configuration file has been lost, because this running configuration is a part of your data plane CPU, right? And in data plane CPU you are having RAM, and RAM is your non-volatile memory, right? Because whatever save will save into RAM, it will remove after some time. So the thing what it will do, it will just copy the things from candidate config into your running configuration. That's why it will do the auto commit actually. Okay, so you have seen this auto commit lots of time. That is the reason of your auto commit. Auto commit is going on, it's in 10%. Okay, so we will have to wait for this commit to complete. Meanwhile, let me log in into this firewall by using 128 IP address. Yes, admin. If you run this console jobs question mark all, see right now your auto commit is going on. If I run this command, let me do configure, then commit force. If I want to forcefully do the commit, I can do it. This will forcefully do the commit. Meanwhile, I'll go into my topology. Let me go inside this Linux machine. Let me configure the IP address on this one. IP address I will use here 10.1.1.200. Default gateway is to 10.1.250 IP address of my ASA firewall. Meanwhile, let me also close this one. Let me open the terminal. Let me just check the connectivity. I'll try to ping from this machine to 10.1.1.100, which is the IP address of my switch. I can able to do that. Let me try to ping 250. This ping is not working right now. Why it is not working? But there is a firewall in between, right? This firewall. And commit has been not is still not completed over there. When this commit will complete, you have seen your ping will also start working. So right now we are having PaloAlto firewall, who is basically protecting this traffic. And if I'll go inside this firewall, let me just capture the traffic on Ethernet 1/1 interface I will capture. Okay, and we will not able to see any packets over there. Nothing is there. And if I run the capture on Ethernet 1/2, you will see some packets over there. All these packets right now firewall will drop actually. There is some R packet is coming and all. 10.1.1.250 because this machine 10.1.1.200 is not having the MAC address of your 10.1.1.250. So it is just sending the broadcast ARP actually. Now see, he has replied 10.1.1.250 has been replied. No, not he's not replied. Who has this one? He's just sending the ARP. Okay. Because it will wait for this commit to complete. When this commit will complete, you will be able to see some traffic on your firewall. So we will wait here for some time to complete this commit. So guys, in your EVNG, okay, when you will see your traffic is not going or not coming, right? Your traffic is not working, just try to run the capture always, okay? Just start capturing the packet on these interfaces and you will get the idea where your traffic is dropping, okay? So wait, okay. So I have run the force commit, but this will really take time actually. It will take some time because auto commit is going. So it's completed now 55% at least 70. As soon as this commit will complete, you will see ping has started working now. You are able to see echo request and reply packets. And if you go into your to your ASA firewall, let me go there. You are seeing some connection as well, right? Because there are some DNS traffic also initiated by this machine. And right now in PaloAlto, just exit, run this console session all. It is having some pings traffic, right? And this time if I'll go into my machine, if I'll type here www.google.com and www.sianets.com, you will see some traffic here as still. DNS traffic is there, right? Now you will see your connection count is also increasing. Show connection. See right now I can have some UDP connection is there on the ASA firewall. And on this machine, if I'll go and if I'll type here 192.168.1.1, this IP address, and right now on both the wires you will see the packets actually. So in vWire, what it will do, my PaloAlto, what it is doing, whatever he is receiving into this interface, okay, whatever he is receiving into this interface, he's just matching the traffic against the security policies and just forwarding the traffic out. Whatever traffic he is receiving into this interface, processing against the security rules, what we have configured and sending out. Only it is doing this thing actually. And if you see, if you go into your switch or into ASA as well, if you run this console, see you are having direct packets actually. In switch also, because they are not aware about there is a PaloAlto. If you run this console, nothing is there. So CDP never, if you run this command, you will not get anything because it will not run any kind of CDP protocol. But you will, these two devices not aware about that because it's just a virtual wire deployment. If you go into your monitor tab into session browser, you are able to see some connections over there. Now go to into this machine. See Google has been okay. Google has been not open. Do the ping to 192. Let me just try to ping to 8.8.8.8. So ping is not working, which means there is some issue with the internet connectivity. Internet is not working. That we can trouble. So route ping to burst 192.168.1.1. Ping is working. Ping to 8.8.8.8. So I'm having the connectivity from here. So exilate. I think pet so run object. So I'm having this network. So run net because net rule is not hitting, I hope. Inside to outside dynamic over the interfaces. Ping to 8.8.8.8. Okay, now it's working. This time it will work. There were some issues, I hope. These are all are the BMs. So sometimes you will see this kind of traffic glitch actually. And in this firewall, if you see here, you will have all these particular sessions, right? Session is creating over there. If you go to into policies, I'm having these policy traffic coming from inside, going towards outside. These are the three services, and there is a one application which is ping application, right? And action is allowed. So this is how we will basically deploy the firewall into vWire mode, guys. It's a straightforward deployment. You don't need to do much thing actually to deploy the firewall in this mode. So IP interface brief. So these are the IP settings. So IP route. I'm having this route. If I'll again ping to this 8.8.8, pinging to Google, see ping is working from here. So VLAN brief. You can see the VLAN details. So interface status. You can get the status of your interfaces. Okay, sometime guys, what you have to do, if you go into network tab to vWire group, you have to allow the VLAN text. Sometime it's required. So in that case, what you can do, just write the group like this 4095. 4094, I think, yeah. And do the commit. So exit. So there is no exit right now. Let me just do the ping from here. Sorry, ping to 8.8 with repeat count of 2000. So right now exilate is happening and I'm doing the NAT over this IP address, which is outside interface IP address. So ping is working from here, which means everything is correct, guys. Let me just refresh this thing one more time. 192.168 1.1. So like this, we will basically configure our security rules and all. Okay. And in your PaloAlto 5, we are getting the sessions. So session all. There are the sessions. Okay. For ping, there are lots of sessions for ping request. See. So run access list. Permit IP and ints. This ACL is allowing. If you run this console access list, you will get some hit count. So this ACL is also hitting, right? So means your, this is how we will configure. I'm not sure why this is not working. Maybe due to some another reasons. Okay, but this is how we will configure, because ping is not working from this machine, but ping is working from other machines, right? From that switch. 10.1.1.250. I can able to ping to 192.168 1.1. So to this IP, I'm not able to ping. IP range is fine actually. This is the range only which we have to define. So run object group. This include all the IP address, so that is also fine. So this is how, guys, we will configure the vWire mode. Okay. And if I'll go into the this firewall, if I run this console virtual wire, all you can run this command, you will get the how many virtual wires you have configured actually. And filter it out if you want to filter anything. vwire group, you will get the details. These are the two interfaces which are part of virtual wire group. Okay, and if I'll go into this network tab into interfaces, these are the two interfaces which I'm using. This is outside, this is inside as per this topology. So these are the things which I want to discuss with regards to guys your vwire.